Assalamualaikum and hello to my lecturer Saraza and also to my fellow friends. I am Sharifah Najwa and I would like to present about the topic that I've chose, which is the elasticity of demand from chapter 2, demand and supply characteristic of the transport market. First of all, as an introduction, I will explain a little bit about the definition of elasticity. Elasticity is a measure of the degree of sensitivity of one variable to changes in another variable. In other words, demand elasticity or inelasticity for a product or goods is determined by how much demand for the product changes as the price increases or decreases. Companies that operate in highly competitive industry offer products and services that are elastic, as the company tend to be price takers. Definition of own price elasticity. Own price elasticity is a percentage change in quantity demand of a goods or services divided by the percentage change in its price. Other factors remain unchanged. This shows that the responsiveness of quantity supplied to a change in price. The cross elasticity of demand is an economic concept that measures the responsiveness in the quantity demand of one goods when the price for another goods changes. This measurement is calculated by taking the percentage change in the quantity demand of one good and dividing it by the percentage change in the price of the goods. Definition of income elasticity. Income elasticity refers to the sensitivity of the quantity demand for a certain goods to a change in real income of consumers who buy this good, keeping all other things constant. To calculate income elasticity of demand is the percentage change in quantity demand divided by the percentage change in income. With income elasticity of demand, you can tell if a particular goods represent necessity or a luxury. Definition of service elasticity. Companies that operate in highly competitive industry offer products and services that are elastic, as the company tend to be price taker. When the price of goods and services has reached the point of elasticity, sellers and buyers quickly adjust their demand that good or service. Elasticity is an important economic measure, particularly for sellers of goods and services, because that reflects how much of goods and service buyers will consume when the price increases or decreases. Now we move to the measurement of elasticity. For price elasticity, percentage change in quantity demand divided by percentage change in price. And for cross elasticity, percentage change in quantity demand of the service divided by percentage change in price of competitive service. Under price elasticity, there are perfectly price elasticity of demand. It is one in which a no or very small change in price will cause a large change in amount demanded. A no or very small rise in price reduces the demand to zero. A small decreases in price leads to a big expansion in demand. Relatively price elasticity of demand is where the demand is said to be relatively elastic when the change in demand is more than the change in price. Unitary price elasticity of demand. In this type of demand, a given percentage change in price leads to exactly the same percentage change in amount demanded. As there is no change in the demand and price is called as unitary demand. For relatively price inelasticity of demand, when the change in demand is less than the change in price and the demand is said to be inelastic. For perfectly price inelasticity of demand, this is one which shows that whatever the change in price may be, the amount demanded remains same. Now we move to the factors that affecting the magnitude of demand elasticity. There are 4 types of factors, which is essential journey, alternative of practical mode, alternative supplier available, and span of time. First, essential journey, almost no substitute of transport mode, which is air travel. Commercial travel tend to be less price sensitive than personal travel. Second, alternative of practical mode have a substitute of transport. Transport will generally be elastic where there is suitable or comparable alternative. Other factors is alternative supplier available, more than one operator providing the services, span of time, where the duration will vary according to times. Trip makers will make planning, either there is short-term planning or long-term planning. Next is competition between modes. First, the cross-elasticity of demand. Despite generally low levels of substitution between public transport modes, passengers are particularly sensitive to in-vehicle access and waiting time in choosing public transport mode, and less so for fare variations. I found that peak hour demand are more markedly switches between public transport modes than off-peak demand does. Better understanding of level and aspect of competition between public transport modes can help improve competition legislation and inform the many countries that still protect their heavy rail lines from competition with express coaches. And the other one is in the legal sense of competition law, in order for competition regulators of courts to define the relevant market. As a conclusion, elasticity are tools that can use to quantify the impact to change in price income and advertising on sales and revenue. If the demand curve is elastic, total revenue falls when the price rises. If the demand curve is inelastic, total revenue rises as the price rises. So understanding elasticity helps our economic model say much more about the world. Thank you. That's all from me.